Hey folks, I'm Ted, and this is the Black Pearl Voyager channel. And we're in the easy chair today, like most days since I'm retired. But the reason I'm here, and the reason for this video is if you have watched our last video on the trip we took between Birch Creek Ranch and Leslie Gulch, I highlighted a trail, along a trail segment, I should say, that we had mapped out in Gaia GPS, and complained a little bit about the fact that we spent an hour or an hour and a half driving up that track only to come to a closed and locked gate, of course at some private property, and rightfully so. I don't have a problem with Mr. McKenzie, who happens to own the entire top of Mahogany Mountain, his right to close off the land there. Where I draw issue or take issue is there's several roads in areas of Central Oregon where the property owner has about 100 or 200 yards of road that passes over a corner of his property, and they gate and lock that. That's where I do have a problem. But in this instance, we're talking about mapping and how Gaia GPS works. And I've got my computer up here with a screenshot, and I'm going to go ahead and start recording this now. And show you one of the things about Gaia GPS that have to do with the user's assumptions, and one of the flaws in the way Gaia GPS works. And I really can't flaw the app because I use it all the time. I use it for mapping everywhere, just nearly. Occasionally I'll use Onyx Off-Road, but Gaia is my go-to map. So if you take a look here on Gaia GPS, we're going to go ahead and create a route. And we're going to start here at Birch Creek Ranch, which is where we were camped. And the way this works is there are several modes that you can use here. The routing mode for this particular one is hiking. I'm going to choose driving because, of course, we're driving, right? We're not hiking. So you put it in driving mode, and you find your intended destination, which is here at Slocum Creek Campground. Okay, if you click on Slocum Creek Campground, you get a route. I'm going to go ahead and save this so it's not flipping all over the place, and I'm going to change the route color, to something a little more visible. There we go, red, and we'll save that. Alright, so here's the route that Gaia has picked for us, and of course it's a driving route. And you'll see here that it is 63 miles, 64 miles, and it's routed on mostly, I would say, what I would call cross-country routes. These are routes that anybody can drive in so much as a go-kart. Well-maintained gravel roads, paved roads. The only exception would be here at Birch Creek Ranch, where you really don't have any choice of roads. So naturally it's going to take you out the only available road, and I would not expect anyone to take that road that wasn't in a high clearance vehicle of some sort. I don't think it necessarily needs to be four-wheel drive, but it needs to be a high clearance. Okay, well, yeah, that's not the kind of route we look for. We look for overland routes, and it looks like there's an entire clear pathway here with some interconnecting roads that one could very possibly make it across. But Gaia doesn't choose those routes for you. Now if you go down here to, let's go back to edit here. You have to go back to edit. Let's change the driving mode, or the mode from driving to hiking. Now look what happens. That's right. Gaia picks the quickest route, the shortest route. And naturally, if you're hiking, you're going to want to take the shortest route. The only problem is you don't know if this route's open. And I can tell you for a fact that this route is not open because we drove right up to the gate where this road is closed. Let me find it here. This actually shows the gate right here. Now the road continues on here, but you can't get past the gate. Now there is another route here. There's actually a river crossing here at Birch Creek Ranch. And you can cross the river here, and you've got another road that runs up this side. You'll probably have to cross the river a couple of times. At least that's what I've observed from watching Jason at Primal Outdoors and Donald at Soft Roading the West. And I'm sure that there's a viable route, and you could take this route. And we're going to try this route next time. As you can see, there's places along here that it shows that the road is in the water. But I know from first-hand experience that the lake does not back up this far anymore. It is way down, and it is nothing but a river in the bottom of a canyon now. There's no lake there as of April 6, 2023. So you see the problem. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. If you choose driving all the time, then it's going to keep you on well-paved and well-managed roads with the intent that you get there by passable roads that are safe to travel. So what do we overlanders do? Well, we take a chance, and that's exactly what we did driving up to the top of Mahogany Mountain. Evidently, and this is Gunsight Pass, this is where we got stopped right here. And as you can see, this is where the BLM land stops. And let me turn up the layer here for private property. Let's put that in place. And you'll see that a guy named Mackenzie owns this, and looks like Mahogany Mountain. And all of this stretch up here is the roads go through, but it's all on private property. And like I said, I don't have a problem with private property. What I have is a problem with is being foiled at times by a tool that doesn't take into consideration what an overlander might be looking for, only what a hiker or a driver would be looking for. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I'm still going to use Gaia. It's still my main tool, and you just need to be aware and check your route and make sure that where it crosses possible private land, you might be stymied. It might not go through. Okay, just a few final thoughts about Gaia GPS. Number one is that Gaia is just a tool, and it's only as good as the person who wields it, I guess is an analogy. A better analogy would be give your toddler a framing hammer sometime and let him run through the house. And what I'm trying to say is that you really need to do your research. If you're serious about overlanding and you're serious about using Gaia as a reference and a guide, do your research. There's lots of tutorials on YouTube. That's how I learned it. Of course, I learned by the School of Hard Knocks too, and you probably will too. But I'm hoping information like this will at least alert you as to some of the shortcomings of Gaia GPS as a routing tool. Also, I would like to see Gaia do something about being able to report issues on routes that you've created so that the next person isn't surprised by coming across a dead end. I'm not sure how they would do that. I know in the case of Onyx Off-Road, they have people that actually run the trail, and they can tell you exactly where the issues are. Unfortunately, if one of their people hasn't run that trail, never been on it, you're not going to find it on Onyx Off-Road. So you're pretty much in the same boat. Go ahead, like, subscribe, but especially comment. Tell me what you think. Let me know what kind of problems you've had with Gaia GPS, and anything else that you find pertinent or relevant. I appreciate hearing from you. So that's all I have for you. I don't really have any other complaints with Gaia GPS. There's a bit of a learning curve to it, and I've learned a lot on YouTube and by trial and error, but you know, the best way to learn it is to get out there. So that's my advice to you. Get out there.